Hello, good evening. Very good evening to all of you. Welcome to Let's Crack CBSE Science and welcome to my class. We'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes and then we'll pitch in. I hope all of you are safe, sound. As you all know, we have been dealing with CBSE Class 12th Computer Science and we have been looking into the various chapters as per the prescribed NCERT syllabus. So we had a discussion. The classes commenced with the discussion on Python language, and then we learned about data structures, the sorting algorithm, the searching methodologies. Then we had a few introductory classes regards to files and how to implement them in Python. Then now that we are learning the chapters on computer networks, we'll just wait for 1 more minute and then we'll pitch in. For those who have missed out the lectures, you can please follow the YouTube channel Let's Crack CBSE Science of Unacademy and get access to all the videos of the lectures posted on various topics. So let's crack CBSE Science, which helps you to crack all the 11th science examinations and the 12th science board examinations with Unacademy, wherein you get classes from the top educators and quality of the content is ensured, and definitely it's a great learning experience. Okay, so very good evening and welcome to Let's Crack CBSE Science. So before moving on to the lessons, let me give you a self introduction. Hello, I am Shalini. I am a BTech and MTech holder in computer science and engineering, a teacher by profession, and with over 14 years of teaching experience. With Unacademy, I'm excited to provide an inspiring learning experience to all those students via this online platform whom I could not have reached otherwise through my offline or classroom teaching. So, as the title suggests, today we'll be having a question and answer session on, it's actually a discussion on the chapter computer networks. Now this is a part 2. We had a part 1 version where we had discussed the conceptual questions. A few of the conceptual as well as the application oriented questions will be discussed today. So today will be a much shorter session. So a few words about Unacademy and the detailed description on the subscription fee details. So, welcoming all of you once again to the India's largest e-learning platform. So, Unacademy has grown out to be India's largest e-learning platform, not just because of the reason of the pandemic situation, but also for the reason that it is like a one-stop destination, or it is the most happening app. It has courses running from a CBSE school going student to an aspirant who's preparing for a competitive exam. Now, all you need to do is get a plus subscription and access the resources of Unacademy. Resources in the sense you have unlimited live and recorded classes which are offered from the best educators from all over India. Yes, Nikita, and yes, Amritesh, very good evening. Welcome to my class. So I hope all of you are safe, sound, and healthy. So introducing the iconic subscription. So this subscription would help you take your CBSE preparation to a next level with the help of your personal mentor. So once you have a personal mentor assigned, you get a one-to-one guidance from the top experts as per as your personal mentor. Okay. Now he or she would help you in aligning a learning strategy. So by and thereby resolving all your concerns regarding the studies. Okay. Then you have a parent connect session wherein you have regular open hours for the parents to discuss the learner's performance report with the mentor. It's usually like a progress report that the parents get regarding the ward's performance. So, and there is a live doubt solution, okay, wherein you can attend exclusive doubt solving classes to solve all your subject doubts and also get a customized study plan to track your progress. Now, all these features available in Iconic subscription are in addition to all the features with the that is available with the Plus subscription. So once you take an Iconic subscription, you can enjoy the features of Plus subscription as well as the Iconic subscription. Now, regarding the Plus subscription, you have daily live classes. Now, all the courses here are well structured and in line with the current examination syllabus. Now, there are live tests and quizzes. Now, this would help you to evaluate your preparation with the regular mock tests and quizzes, and this will surely give you a detailed analysis of how well you are getting yourself prepared for the forthcoming board examination. Okay. And unlimited access, how to get it? Once you get a subscription, you get access to all the resources. As I told you, the live and recorded version of the courses. So you needn't worry if you miss out a live session because the same is available in the recorded format also. Now, which can be viewed at the comfort of your time as well as the comfort of your device. Okay. So now this is how the free and the live classes and the recorded or the forthcoming classes would look like. So once you have installed the Unacademy learning app in your smartphones, you get a reminder or an intimation when a live session is going on or about to begin. Okay. And you needn't worry because the same can be viewed in the recorded format. Also, you get an update about the forthcoming classes also. Okay. Now, this is how the comprehensive syllabus would look like. You will have the different subjects, and underneath each subject, you will be having the different courses that are listed. Okay. So you just what you need to do is just click on the courses that are from the various educators, and then you can view them according to your choice. So as I told you, what you need to do is you need to download and install the Unacademy learning app from the Play Store. And then you can install them in your smartphones and then get a subscription based on the choice. Okay. Yes, Sachin, very good evening and welcome to the class. So we'll be um, moving on to our lessons very shortly after the description on the Academy. So apart from that, as I told you, we have a Telegram channel too. So to join to the channel, what you need to do is download the Telegram app in your smartphone and see the link here. You have to type the link in the URL as shown in the figure and then join to the channel. Okay. Now, see, once you download the Unacademy learning app in your smartphones and select your goal. Now, if you're a plus 2 student, a CBSE class 12 student, your goal is definitely CBSE class 12 examination. So once you select the goal, you would be redirected to which is the plan, the form of subscription that you would like to choose, whether it is a plus subscription or the iconic, and all the features with respect to each of them was discussed in the previous slides. Okay. So if you're wishing to take a plus subscription, now these are the details with regards to the fees, and these are the different plans available for a class 12 subscription, wherein you have a plan ranging from 3 months to a year subscription. Okay. But if you apply my promo code SLYT, I repeat, if you use my promo code SLYT, you get an 10% discount on the fee. That is, the 3 month subscription plan gets reduced to 5,850. Okay, likewise, the fee waiving can be seen in all the below plans also. Now, these are the fee description with respect to class 12th iconic subscription, wherein you have two plans, the 6 month plan and a 12-month plan. Here again, if you use my promo code SLYT, I repeat my promo code SLYT, you again get a 10% discount on the subscription fee. Okay, so these are the details with respect to the Unacademy and its subscription fee details. So we are pitching into the agenda of the day, wherein we'll be having a small discussion on computer networks. Okay, just the question and answer discussion on computer networks, and this is the part 2 discussion. So here we'll be learning a few conceptual questions as well as the application oriented questions also. So moving on to our first question, explain the different network topology. Okay, so that means there is not just one, you have multiple number of topologies. Now to prior to answering the different topologies, you definitely need to have a small intro regarding what a topology is, right? So topology refers to the way in which a network is laid out. What is a network? A network is an interconnected collection of autonomous computing devices, right? So there is a collection, there is an interconnection, and then you have autonomous computing devices also. So you are definitely going to have more than one device here. Now, what exactly topology does? It will suggest you a way in which these devices can be laid out physically. Okay. So two or more devices connect to a link. Is the idea clear? When you have to connect two or more devices, we say that they are connected via a link. And when you having two or more links together, now this is what make up a topology. Is the idea clear? When you are just having two devices, you have a link to connect the two devices. Imagine this pen is the link, and at both the ends you are having nodes or computing devices. In that case, this edge is called the, or this link is called, this pen is called as the link. And when you're having multiple devices, many such links would be there, right? So the arrangement or the physical alignment or the geometric pattern that the link forms, the different link that forms, makes up what you call by the terminology topology. So I hope the term topology is clear to you. So from this we can conclude that topology of a network is a geometric representation of the relationship of all the links and linking devices to one another. Is the idea clear? So topology means it is the geometric representation of the relationship of all the links. So when you're having multiple links, definitely there will be some sort of relationship with all the links and linking devices to one another. Okay. So the question what asked here is we need to explain about the different network topologies. So right now we have been giving a brief introduction or definition with regards to what topology is, right? Now see what are the different types of topology. We'll just leave this part out, and if you look ahead, you see the major topologies are mesh, star, bus, and ring. What are they? Mesh, star, bus, and ring. Okay. And when you have a collection, a combination of any of these together, it results in the hybrid topology. Is the idea clear? So mesh, star, bus, and ring are the basic topologies, and when you have a combination of maybe all of them or maybe two of them or like that, then it results in the hybrid topology. So once again, the definition says the topology is the way in which a network is laid out physically. So it is like when you're having the devices and you're having the connection medium, right? Definitely this is going to be a physical layout, in the sense you can see, touch, right, the devices. So when you're physically laying out, definitely there has to be devices which we indicate by the term host, node, or workstation. Then you have some of the other medium via which the devices are connected, right? And this connection is called as the link. Fine. So two or more links, and when you're having multiple devices, definitely the number of links are also multiple, right? So the collection of all these links will form a topology. Okay, to sum up, what is a topology? So of a network, it is the geometric representation of the relationship of all the links and linking devices to one another. And from the figure, we know what are the different topologies. Okay, what are they? By the name mesh, the star, bus, ring, and finally, when you're having a combination of all of them, it results in the hybrid topology. So let us now dissect and learn each of the topologies. So moving on to the first topology, which is the first topology, it is the mesh topology. Okay. Now see the figure here. Now all that is shown in circles are actually the nodes. Okay. Nodes meaning the devices, the computing devices, and all these edges, I mean, the connection path between the nodes are actually the links here. So when you're having a when you're having a multiple collection of link, what is it called as? It is called as the topology, right? Now, every device meaning every node or every workstation, okay, it has a dedicated point-to-point link to every other device. So when you are having a device, uh, see, when there is a link connecting two or more devices, fine. So there is a link which is connecting all the devices, I mean every other device. If you're considering, say, this as device 1, now this particular device would have links running in all direction, wherein it would get connected to all the other nodes in the network. So how many nodes are there? In total, you're having 5 nodes, and if you're considering the node 1, it will have links running so that it is connected to all the other nodes. See here, it is, let me number them so that it will be a little more easy for you to identify. See, there is a link running from 1 to 2, fine. There is a link running from 1 to 3, there is a link running from 1 to 4, and there is a link running from 1 to 5, right? So likewise, if you take any of these nodes here, we find that every node, there is a connection to all the other devices. Fine. So if there are n nodes, we can say that if that n nodes in the meaning, if there are n computing devices, we can conclude to say that there would be n minus 1 link with respect to a node. Is the idea clear? With respect to a node, we can find n minus 1 links here. Fine. So what exactly is the first point that we need to get noted when we are considering the mesh topology? Every device has a dedicated point-to-point link to every other device. Okay. So see, we have introduced a term here. What is a term? Dedicated, right? So what exactly does dedicated mean? Dedicated meaning the link would carry the traffic only between the two devices it connects. Now suppose we are saying that there is a dedicated link between 1 and 2. So that means, for what would this link be used? This link would be definitely be used for transferring or exchanging information between node 1 and node 2. So similarly, you would have dedicated links between any two nodes in the network. Okay. So dedicated meaning it is purely mentioned or purely assigned for a particular job. Now what is a particular job here? Exchange of information naturally in the network. And then when you're having two nodes and you have a dedicated link, meaning that it is only for the exchange of information dedicated to the endpoints. What are the endpoint nodes here? Node 1 and node 2, right? Fine. So this is what is meant by the mesh topology. So when you consider the advantage, okay, the advantage is very clear from the figure itself because every node is getting connected to every other node, right? So the advantage is it would eliminate the traffic problem. See, when you're having a single route or a single path, and imagine that all the communications are going to be sent via this path. So definitely, what is it is going to result in a heavy traffic, right? The same way as we talk about a roadway. Okay, you have only a single roadway to connect a place A and place B, and if we have lots of vehicles moving through the same path, we say that there is a heavy traffic on the route, right? Similarly, when you are having dedicated links between any two devices, now whatever be the transmission happening in any other link is not a matter if there is a communication between one and two, because you are having a dedicated link between one and two, right? So in this way, this would eliminate the traffic problem and robust because definitely, every device is connected to every other, so we can get ensured that the messages from any node can be reaching its particular or respective destination. Okay. When you consider the disadvantage of such a network, see, look here. From the figure itself, we know that when you are having connections running from every other direction possible, so the amount of cabling required is too high, right? So definitely that would incur in the expense also. So hence it can be resulting in an expensive network. And when you consider the number of input-output ports required, also this is definitely high. Why? Because see here, when you're considering a particular node, say node 1, definitely, it should have how many no, I mean how many nodes are there in total in your network? 5, right? So how many links will be there for node 1? Definitely 5 minus 1, that is 4. So in this case, it should have at least 4 ports for connectivity, right? Now similarly, each of the device will be having n minus 1 link and the n minus 1 ports also, input output ports also. So in this case, if you're considering, it is definitely a disadvantage when you're considering the amount of cabling and the number of input output ports required and also the cost. Fine. But the advantage is that it eliminates traffic problem and we can highly rely on such a network because there is always some or the other means to reach out all the nodes in the network. Fine. So moving on to the next network. Now, what is a network? Star, right? So what exactly is a star topology? Each device has a dedicated point-to-point link. Fine. So here also we have a dedicated point-to-point link. But where is this link connected to? It is connected to a central controller. And what is a central controller here? It is the hub. Okay. So it is to this multi-port device that each other device in the sense the nodes. Okay. Each of the computing device would be connected to this multi-port networking device. So here, when you're considering the star topology, the devices are not connected to one another. Instead, for the communication, they have to travel via the hub. Okay. So you definitely need an intermediator for the communication between node A and node B. And the intermediator here is the hub. Fine. So if you're considering the advantage here, it is actually less expensive than mesh because definitely the amount of cabling is very less here because all you need to do is if you wanted to get connected into this network with the star topology, all you need to find is you have a particular port in the hub so that you can get connected to the hub. Fine. So definitely it is easy to install and if you want to add or delete, okay, all these things are possible here. So definitely reconfiguring is also not a task for you. But what is the disadvantage? The dependency of the whole network would depend on what? Depend on the central controller or your networking device, which is the hub. So what happens if the hub goes down? Definitely the entire system is going to die out, right? So each of these systems nodes would behave like a standalone system if your hub fails. Fine. So this is a disadvantage with respect to the star topology. Okay. So right now we have seen the mesh and then the star topology, and which is the third one, which is the bus. Okay. So bus topology. Now see here, you have one long cable which acts as the backbone to link all the devices in the network. Okay. The nodes are connected to the bus cable by drop lines and taps. Okay. So what are they? You have drop lines connecting from the node to the cable end, and to the cable end you have a tap. Okay. So it is via the tap the connection happens with the with the bus. Okay. Now, so this is how the layout of the bus topology happens. So you would have a cable. Now, what you need to worry over here is only the cable that is going to run in your entire room or the entire space where you want to implement the bus topology. Okay. So when a device has to get connected via this topology, all you need to do is just worry about the drop line and tap so that you get connected with the bus topology. So as you see from the figure, this is the most easiest way of installation because not much of the geographic pattern to be studied here. Fine. But the problem is when you have a fault, it is very difficult for isolation. Okay. And also that what happens, you have a single line running, right? So single cable running. Now this is exactly the backbone. So if this is already busy, or imagine that two other devices already communicating. So this indicates that the line is busy, right? So in this case, no other device can access the bus. So what happens? Only after the communication is over can another device access the bus. Okay. So in this way, if you consider that is exactly a disadvantage. But when you're considering the ease of installation, we would definitely go for a bus topology based on the distance also. Okay. So this is the explanation with regard to bus topology. Now, which is the next topology? The next topology is the ring topology. Okay. So how exactly is the ring happening here? Now, each device has a dedicated point-to-point connection with only two devices on either side of it. Okay. A signal is passed along the ring in one direction until the destination. So, either a clockwise direction or an anti-clockwise direction, but each device in the ring has a repeater. So, all these rectangles that is shown can be are the repeaters. Okay. So what happens, the message actually or the message signal actually passes in only one direction, and you have repeaters at each of the point connected with the node. Okay, all that is shown in the circles are your nodes or your host or the workstation, and see the innermost wire, okay, running. Now this is actually in the though it is in the shape of a rectangle, it is actually in the ring where everyone is connected together, right? The entire network would look like a ring. Fine. So, but what is the disadvantage actually? It is only traveling in one direction. That means it is a unidirectional traffic. So, definitely the traffic that would be encountering here is unidirectional. But you have a repeater, right? So, each device in the ring has a repeater too. So, what is exactly is the purpose of a repeater? Yes, good evening, Vishnu. Welcome to the class. So, what exactly is the purpose of a repeater? The repeater actually regenerates the signal, right? So, we have learned about what regeneration is and the purpose of a repeater all in previous classes with respect to the theory concepts when we learned about networks, right? So what happens? Regenerating a signal means regenerating in its original format, right? So if the strength of the signal decreases, you need to increase the strength or bring back the original strength of the signal, right? So what repeater does the job of regeneration. And when you're considering a ring topology, now this is also very easy to install and reconfigure. But the main disadvantage with respect to the ring topology is the unidirectional traffic that is encountered. Okay. So, with all the four topologies, we have all the basic topologies covered. Now, what exactly is a hybrid? Or what exactly is the literal meaning of the word hybrid? Hybrid meaning you have a combination or an integration of two or more different topologies together into a single topology. In that case, you name the topology as hybrid. Okay. So, what is a hybrid topology? It is an integration of two or more different topologies to form a resultant topology. So you're having multiple different topologies and they are getting integrated to form a resultant topology, and this resultant topology is given the term or name hybrid topology. Now this has many advantages as well as disadvantages also. Okay. So all the constituent basic topologies rather than having characteristics of one specific topology. Okay. So since this is a combination of more than one topology, so whatever the characteristic, if you're trying to speak about a hybrid topology, is actually it is not about just one topology, but actually it is a mixture of all the topology. So you cannot specifically say a particular characteristic when you are considering the hybrid topology. So as I told you, when you are asked about topology, actually the basic topologies are, what are they? Mesh, bus, ring and star. Fine. When you have an opportunity to combine them, the resultant formed is the hybrid topology. Fine. So if there is a mesh topology in one of the office department. Now see here, I have given an example to understand what exactly is a hybrid topology. Now suppose if there is a mesh topology in one of the office department while a ring topology in another department, such that you have an office running and you have different departments for the same office, and each of the department is following a different topology. But since all the departments belong to the same office, they also have to be connected, right? Now, when you're trying to connect all these different topologies together to form a single network, naturally it will result in hybrid topology. Fine. So, usual pattern combination or integration seen are star ring, star bus networks. Okay. So, these are the most common examples of hybrid network. So, whenever you're having a hybrid network, the next thing that you need to keep in mind is if you're asked to, if you're asking about the characteristics of this particular network or topology, you cannot specifically say one characteristic because it is definitely going to be a combination of all the topologies that you have integrated. Fine. And if you consider the biggest drawback is its design, right? So definitely it's a tedious job for the designers to design such a topology when you're having any department having a different layout, and then you're trying to merge the multiple layouts together to form one. Okay. So that's all about topology. So what exactly did we learn today? So we actually started off or pitched off with the definition of topology, right? With the definition of topology, where we define the topology to be the way in which the network is laid out physically. Fine. Or in a nutshell, what exactly is a topology? It is a geometric representation of all the relationships of or links and linking nodes to one another, and see the different topologies available. So the main topologies available here are mesh, star, bus and ring. And when you have or when you attempt to bring a combination or integration of all these topologies, the resultant is the hybrid topology. Okay. And we learned each of the topologies in detail, starting with the mesh topology. So we saw that in a mesh, you have a connection with every device in the entire network. And when we were learning about each of the topology, we had a figure associated with it. I mean, a small thing. I mean, small description, exactly like what we say as a definition. And then we at least saw one advantage and disadvantage with respect to each of the topologies. So, what are the topologies that we learned today? Mesh, then star, bus, and ring. So these were the main. And then when you had an integration or combination, the resultant was the hybrid topology. Okay. So let's move on to the second question. So just a second. I hope it is readable to all of you. Yes. Okay. So the question says, so for those of you, you find it the resolution bad, I can read the question out. Intelligent Hub India is a knowledge community aimed to uplift the standard of skills and knowledges in the society. Now, this is all with regards to the um, community by the name Intelligent Hub India. Now, the main concern is it is planning to set up its training centers in multiple towns and villages in India with its head offices in the nearest cities. So, definitely there is going to be a network that is going to be set up here. So, they have created a model for their network with a city, a town, and three villages. So, these are the things that it is from here that our concern starts. So we understood that this particular community is going to set up a network, fine, and this network is going to comprise of one city, one town, and three villages, fine. As a network consultant, so that means you have to you have to put in the shoes of a network consultant, and then you'll have to suggest the best network related solution for the issues and problems raised. So you have a few questions coming up. Keeping in mind the distance between the various locations and given parameters. Okay, so these are the things that you need to take care of. And see here, this is how the layout of the office happens. You have a head office which is situated at X city, fine. And then you have village 1, village 2, village 3 and Y town. Okay. Now all these three villages and the town is getting connected together and in the Y hub. Fine. Now let's see the different questions here. So you're given with two tables wherein in one table you have the number of computers installed at each of the location. Fine. And then you have, what do you have here? Another table showing the distances between each of these links. Okay. See here from village 1 to Y town. Okay. So from Y town to each of the villages, then from village 1 to 2, 3 and distance between village 2 to 3 and the city head office to Y hub. Fine. So you're given with these information and now we're going to see the questions. So the question says, so in villages, there are community centers in which one room has been given as a training center to this organization to install computers. The organization has got financial support from the government and top IT companies. Now, all these things are not a concern. Now, let's move on to the question. Suggest the most appropriate location of the server in Y Hub. Okay. So out of the four locations, you need to find out which is exactly the best place to house your server. Fine. The second question, the best wired medium, suggest the best wired medium and also the cable layout. You need to show it so that you can efficiently connect the various locations within the Y hub. Fine. Which hardware device will you suggest to connect all the computers within each location of Y-Hub? And finally, the server or protocol which will be most helpful to conduct live interaction. So there has to be a live interaction, meaning there has to be some mechanism for video conferencing, right? Of the experts from the head office and people at Y-Hub. So you are supposed to answer all the four questions, assuming yourself to be a network consultant. Fine. Now, to help you answer the questions, you are being given with two tables, wherein one table would give you the number of computers and the other the distances. And note the point, the distances are in kilometers. Fine. So, first question, you need to find out the most appropriate location or to place your server. Fine. So, to answer this question, you need to look into the table wherein you are given the count of computers. And look at the count and find out the place where you have the maximum number of computers. Where do you have the maximum computers? You have the maximum number of computers at Whitetown, right? So definitely you have to place your server in Whitetown. Okay, so it has the server is placed in a housed in a place where you have the maximum number of computers. Okay, now which is the best wired medium and draw the cable layout. Okay, so to see the best wired medium, so if you are asked about the best wired medium among all the wired mediums, what are the other wired mediums? You have the twisted pair, and then you have the coax also, right? And then you have the OFC. So among all the three, which is the best wired medium? Naturally, it is the OFC. Okay. So a twisted pair cannot be used for a broadband connection, right? So when you're having a distance in actually kilometers, you could have gone for a coaxial cable, but since the quality also has to be matter here, then you needn't think about the economic means. You just need to think of the best mechanism. OFC is the costliest among all the three, but still, if you're demanding for the quality, you're betting for the quality, then you should definitely go for the option of OFC. Is the idea clear? So hence, the best wired medium that you're going to choose is OFC. Okay, you have the head office, and now you need to see how the cable layout happens. So you will have a connection from all the villages to the White Town. Okay, so this is how the cable layout would look like. And then what is the next question? The question was, which is the hardware device you would suggest to connect all the computer within each location of Y-Hub? Right, within the Y-Hub. So you are having village 1, village 2, village 3 and Y-Town, right? So each of these is having a network within themselves. So definitely the device that you're going to use is switch or a hub. Preferably you would be using a switch because it is more intelligent than a hub. Fine. But either of these devices are possible in the LAN network. Fine. And what was the last question? Definitely the server or protocol, which will be most helpful to conduct live interaction. Live interaction means you need a video conferencing, right? So which would be the protocol that you would be using? VoIP. What is VoIP? Voice over IP. IP is Internet Protocol. Fine. The main protocol for the while accessing the internet, right? So these are the answers to the questions. So this is how you need to frame your answers. I mean, you need to find from the question. See, they have asked the best wired medium. Fine. So you have only three wired mediums that you have already learned. Fine. And then among which the twisted pair is the most cheapest. Fine, but it is usually used for telephone cables. Okay. And then if you're asking for the best wired medium and you need to point out with the quality, definitely OFC has to be considered. Fine. So let's move on to the next question. So again, this is a similar question. Fine. So you can expect such kind of application-based questions from the chapter of computer networks. The software development has set up its center at Raipur in office. Yes, good evening, Ritvik. We're having a question answer session, discussion on computer networks. So, and web-based activities. Now it is having 4 blocks and the blocks are named here. So similarly, definitely you would have 2 tables, one with the number of computers given and the second with the distance between the different blocks. Fine. And let's see the questions raised from the figure. You need to find the best possible place to house the server of this company. How do you find that? You need to look into this first table, right? The table with the count of computers, and you need to find out the place where or the block where you have the maximum number of computers. Now, which is the block? Block C. Among all the 4, it is block C with the highest number of computers. So naturally, placing the server is out of question because you place it only at block C. And the reason for it is the maximum number of computers. Okay. Then suggest a type of network to connect all the blocks with suitable reasons. So you need to find the type of network. Okay, so not the topology, but the type of network. The type of network, right? Okay, sorry again. So the type of network. See, so for finding out the type of network, you have to definitely inspect the second table. Now, when you look into the table, you see that the distances are shown in meters. Okay, so now this is going to be a few meters anyway in a distance span which is going to be less than 1 to 2 kilometers, right? So definitely you can go for what kind of network? You can go for a LAN network or the local area network, right? Now moving on to the third question. The company is planning to link all the blocks through a secure and high-speed wired medium. Suggest a way to connect all the blocks. So it is going to use some wired medium to connect all the blocks together. Now you need to say by which way or which is the physical layout that you're going to suggest for connecting all the blocks together. Right. So to understand that, we are going back to our table and then we are going to inspect all the distances. Fine. So we find that there is a 60, 40, 30 and 50. Now let us take all the minimum distances. Fine. So we have the blocks A, B, C and D. Fine. Between A and B you have 60. Between B and C you have 40. Between A and C again you have 30 and between C and D you have 50, right? So 60 is the largest distance among all of them. Fine. So, sorry, I raised off the entire thing. Let me rewrite it now. So this was 60, this was 50, B to C was 40 and finally this is 30, right? So this is a connection layout that you see. Now, definitely when you have to have links between the blocks, cost incursion is a consideration, right? When you're talking about the installation, you need to consider the cost and you need to put it in a cost-effective way. And in that case, you consider the ones with the shortest distance, right? Even if you erase this connection or layout off, see here all the nodes are connected in some or the other way. Fine. So you can have a star topology. Fine. You can have the star topology to get it connected, to get connected all the links. Fine. So you need to consider the ones with the minimum distance and because we consider the cost also. Okay. Now the next question is which is the wired medium that you would suggest for efficiently connecting each of the computer installed in the block. So if you're considering the most suitable wired medium is always the OFC. but you are asked to choose between coax, Ethernet, and single pair telephone cable. See, the distances are very minimal, that is in the short range of meters, right? In this case, you can go for a Ethernet cable, okay, rather than a coaxial cable. Fine. So hence, the answers are block C to place your server, LAN, the type of networks, as the network distances shows only a few meters, right, of separation, and the topology, definitely the star topology, and then the Ethernet cable. Okay, the cable to be used is the wired medium is Ethernet cable. When you compare it with the coaxial, it is much cheaper because it is having a very smaller distance. Fine. So moving on to the next question. What exactly is this question about? It's something of the similar question, okay, that we have discussed previously also. So we have a company of the name TTC, okay, a company of the name TTC. It has set up its office at Jaipur. Fine. Now, the office is set up for its office and web-based activities, and definitely it is going to have 4 blocks. Fine. And now you are given with again 2 tables wherein the table 1 consists of the number of computers and the next table with the distance between the blocks in meters again. Okay. So wherein the distance between each of the interconnection is being shown here. Though we would be taking only the ones with the minimum distances here. Fine. So not the one with the block with the maximum number of computers is 250, right? So definitely this would be the place where we're going to place our server. So let's get back to the question. Suggest the most suitable place to house the server of this company with a suitable reason. So definitely you need to find the best place to house the server, right? So where would be the best place to keep your server? The block with the maximum number of computers, that is the block B. Suggest a type of network to connect all the blocks. Okay, so now you need to find out the type of network to connect all the blocks also. Which would you use? Definitely LAN. Why? See the distances here. The distances are in meters, right? Few meters only. In that case, it is within the distance limit of a LAN network. So the type of network is definitely LAN here, and the company is planning to link all the blocks through a secure and high-speed wired medium. Now you have to suggest a topology to connect all the blocks, right? So see the table here. Now from the table we are going to pick up all the ones with the minimum distances. Fine. So when you're taking A to C, you have 50 meters. Then B to C again 70 meters, and then you need to consider B to D 80 meters. Fine. So let us now see if with these connections we get a link with all the devices. Okay, how many, I mean, not all the devices, all the blocks, right? We have 4 blocks over here, right? So look, this is the connection A to C, C to B, and B to D. When you consider this distance, now there can be a single cable layout, and then you can go for a best topology, which would be the most economical way of doing it. Fine. Sorry. What's the next question? The organization is planning to link the head office at Delhi with offices at Jaipur. Now you want to suggest, or you are asked to suggest the most economic way to connect it. Okay. So you're linking the head office with all the office setups, I mean, with all the blocks that are there in Jaipur. And you have to find an economic way to connect it. So here it is the money or the you have to consider the economic factor. Now the company is ready to compromise on the speed, so that means the quality is ready to be compromised, and now you need to find out the economic way of connecting it. See, the economic way of connecting to the internet, definitely you need and internet, right? So you have the dial-up internet, which is actually the slowest, because it is going to use the telephone network for for enjoying the features of internet. So definitely the twisted pair is going to give you the most slowest and lowest in quality. But when you consider twisted pair among all the other wired mediums, this is a most economic way. So this is how you would be answering, the question in which you would suggest which is the way to connect and use the internet. So the most economic way means you would definitely go up for the dial-up internet, which is via using your telephone network. Now, what does the telephone network use? The telephone network uses the twisted pair, right? So, twisted pair, we had a session on the wired and wireless communication media where we learned the different communication media with its advantage as well as the disadvantage, right? So when you're looking into the telephone network, this is like a twisted pair. All you need to do is using a crimping tool, just clip and cut open the telephone wires. You can see all the copper wires entangled in a twisted fashion. Fine. So this is how the transmission happens. But what happens? The quality is getting compromised, or you do not get a higher quality here. Why? Because over distance, there is a chance that the noise can die out. Fine. So this is the thing with regards to dial-up internet. Fine. And then, if you're considering a LAN network, definitely a few meters in consideration, you can use the Ethernet cables. Yes, good evening, Gokul. Then, if you're considering a kilometer separation, then you can definitely go for the coaxial cable. And if you're going to, if you are being asked for the best wired medium of all the others and the high speed wired medium, definitely then you would have to consider the optical fiber. So this is how the medium or the wired medium, if you're asked, this is how you would be looking into it. So with this, we have come to the end of today's session. So let us, to sum up what we have learned in today's class. Just a second. So to sum up what we have learned today, we had a discussion on the different network topologies, wherein we defined what exactly is a topology. Fine. We defined what the topology is and what are the different topologies, wherein we saw mesh, star, bus and ring. We had a definition with respect to each of them. How did we learn? We had a strategic learning wherein we had a definition, a figure attached to each of the topology, and then an advantage and disadvantage with respect to each of them. And when you have a combination of two or more topologies, you result in the hybrid topology. So this is how we learn the hybrid topology. Okay. So the mesh, the star had the central controller, which is the hub. Okay. Then we had the bus topology where you had the single long cable running and which was a backbone for connection or linking to all the devices in the network. Then we learned about the ring topology wherein each device in the ring has a repeater to regenerate the signal and the signal was always traveling in a unidirection. And whenever you had an integration of more than one topology, the resultant was the hybrid topology. So we completely learned about that. Then we discussed a few questions wherein you would be given with two tables wherein you have the number of computers as well as the separation between the blocks in the distance given either in terms of meters or kilometers, and then you are given with a set of questions wherein you need to answer where to place the server, the best solution, the place with the maximum number of computers. Then the type of network, definitely you need to say LAN or WAN, what is the connection that you need to use. Okay, and then the wired medium that you would be suggesting. So there are many choices to be made. Fine. There were so many choices to be made based on the quality, based on the cost. Okay, all these were the reasons for it. Fine. So this is how you can unlock the free content in the app using my code. My code is SLYT. So once you use this code, you can access the free contents of the special classes. The special classes are the ones that are running in your app. So thank you all for joining and hoping to meet you all in the next class with yet another topic. So before winding up, let me remind you of my code SLYT, which can help you in getting a 10% discount in the Iconic as well as the Plus subscription of Unacademy. So all the details regarding the, yes, thank you Ritvik, thank you all. So all the details with respect to the Iconic and Plus subscription was detailed explained in the beginning of the slide. So with this note, I'm bidding good night to all of you. So hoping to meet you all in the next classes. Okay then, good night.